Well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Meet the Author. Today, I have Claire here with me. Claire, thank you so much for jumping on with me today.
Thank you for having me.
So excited that you're here. I always like to start off these author interviews with just very simple, basic, easy icebreaker question. So I have to know, are you more of a dog or a cat person?
Dog, as as you can see, my little
In the
companion,
room. What's the dog's name?
Hendrix.
Hendrix? That is the cutest name.
Thank you.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh, so well behaved too. I love it.
he's old, so unfortunately, I keep hearing like, "Oh, you're a senior." Every time we go to the vet, they're like, "Oh, you're a senior," and I'm like, "Please don't tell me that you're literally killing me."
Stop telling me that. He's young. He's a baby.
He's a baby. I know. Yeah, but
That's so cute. I've had people have done interviews with them behind them. I've had someone who's done an interview with the dog just like sitting in their lap the whole time. So well behaved too. The dog just like wanted to be there, and I was like, "Hey, like, they're great as long as they're just hanging out." And the dog literally didn't bark, just kind of sat there the whole time. Was like, "Okay."
yeah, yeah, that's how he is. He doesn't really bark unless like it's UPS, and he hates the UPS guy. The post office guy he's okay with, but the UPS guy he hates. It's the weirdest thing. I don't
I
know.
wonder what the UPS guy did. Maybe rubbed him the wrong way one time.
The worst part is he gave him a treat once. They met once, and the guy gave him a treat. So I was like, Hendrix, be nice. But he, for some, I mean, I think it's also because he rings the doorbell and no one else rings the
Mm.
doorbell. He like, and I'm convinced he does it on purpose because he knows the dog hates him. In my mind, this guy does this on purpose. My husband's like, I'm sure he does that to everybody. I'm like, no, he hates Hendrix. Like they have beef going.
That's so funny. Yeah, now that I think about it, I think my USPS is the only one that ring like my mail person. Everyone else, like Amazon, FedEx, no one else rings
No
it.
one else rings. Yeah.
But yeah, everyone else does, or my USPS, they knock and ring the doorbell. My dogs are like both.
Why?
So confused. Well, I'm so glad again that you were on here and able to chat today. For anyone who maybe has never met you before, hasn't picked up, one of your books, and this is their first introduction to you, kind of just give us a quick, brief overview of who you are and some of the books that you write.
All right. So my name is Claire, as you know. I write for a while now. I've been writing mostly like romantic suspense, but I kind of like go between. I do everything really. I do contemporary romance, romantic suspense, sports romance in both contemporary and romantic suspense.
She can do it all.
Right. And I mean, I hope so. I hope I do it well because I do it all.
You do it well.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So that's basically, I mean, I write lately though, I've been writing mostly romantic suspense, I feel like. So that's where I'm at now. Is more like mystery and romance. It's always romance, but sometimes there's mystery, sometimes there's not.
I love romantic suspense. That's one like I guess it's a subgenre maybe because it's
Yeah.
like it's part of like obviously romance is the main thing, but I didn't really get into it until like 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer. One of your books was actually one of the first ones I picked up, and then I went down the rabbit hole of like Catherine Cowles, and there's a few other people that write romantic
Right.
suspense, and I was like, wait, I really like this actually.
Well, it's so funny because I just found out like a couple of weeks ago that that's what Catherine Cowles writes. Because I always see her books and I know I've seen her, she's very nice, but I never know what she writes. I always think it's like small town romance and that's it. So, and I don't read small town romance normally,
Mhm.
like ever actually. I never read, I mean, I've read them, I just never read them. So when somebody told me, like, oh, but she writes romantic suspense, and I was like, wait, what? And then they told me like what happens in like one of the books, and I was like, are you joking? I could have been reading this the whole time.
No,
So
yeah,
yeah,
they're definitely like they're small town romances. They're set in small towns, but they're
right.
always suspenseful. So no, super exciting. But it
Oh,
makes sense, honestly, for me to like them because I love thrillers and then I love
right.
romance. So it's like you
Yeah,
combine them. That's the best thing for people who like thrillers. If anyone has not
exactly.
tried a romantic suspense and is watching this, try them.
Absolutely. I agree. I grew up reading thrillers, so that's like what I always gravitate toward is the suspenseful parts. So I'm like, I want to write a romance. Even like the first book I ever published, I was like, but it has to have suspense. And everyone's like just writing like straight contemporary romance, and here I'm like, hey, romantic suspense, and everybody's like, what is this? What is this that you're writing right now? It was yeah,
Do you
but
feel like it's
I
easier
love
for
it.
you when you do write your romantic suspense, like when you're able to add that like level of suspense and things in there? Do you feel like the writing comes just since that's what you're used to, that it just kind of flows out of you a little bit better?
I don't know. I mean, I would say so because again, like that's all I've been writing for a while. But once in a while, I'll get like a contemporary romance idea, and I have to go with it, and then those flow really well. So it's which is why I used to like genre jump. Like every other book, I do like one romance and suspense, one contemporary. So I kind of do both, but I feel like yeah, the mystery suspense ones like always. I feel like I think that way, so maybe they do come easier.
Hmm. That's awesome. I think that's so cool. And again, I love them. My introduction to you was Until I Get You, and that
Right.
book I finished it in like a day and a half, I think. And it's not a short book. Like
No.
which you as an author, you're probably hearing that. You're like, that took me 5 ever to write, and you finished it in a day. Thanks for that.
I know. Someone told me that about One We Lied. She was like, actually, she messaged me like the day it came out, like it was midnight, and she messaged me like at 3 p.m. the next day, and she's like, "Oh my god, I just finished it. I loved it." And I was like, and I like
Wow.
had to, I was like, "You when did you start reading this? Did you have an arc?" And she's like, "No, I just bought it at midnight. Like I pre-ordered it." And I was like, "And you finished it?" And I just kept thinking like, this book took me a year. Which at the same time it's a beautiful thing because I feel like that's how I read. Like I read fast, and if I'm not glued to a book, it's not like a 5 star for me. It's usually
Hmm.
like I don't star anything, but in my mind, I'm like, well, if I'm glued to it, I love it, or something really drew me to it. If not, then I actually I DNF it usually. I don't even do the oh it took me a week. I just don't finish it. Like
I
I'm
was
like
trying to explain reading books to my fiance the other day because I kind of got him into reading this year. He's read like 3 books, which is great for him. He hadn't picked up a book before this in like probably 10 years.
oh
So
my gosh,
super proud of him. Like, and he reads very different than I do. Like, he's not going to read anything that I do. He
right.
likes books about like shipwrecks and stuff like that, which
Oh well, that's fun in a different way.
great for him. I personally would never because I still want to go like on cruises and things and enjoy them and not like think about all the things that have gone wrong. But hey, props to him. He's
Yep.
actually going on an Alaskan cruise later on the summer and he picked a book about an Alaskan like shipwreck, like off the coast. And he's like, I have to read this while I'm on the Alaskan cruise. And I'm like, why?
Why? I
He's
do
like,
that
it's
too.
cold. So like I just want to cozy up with like a book. And I was like, about an Alaskan shipwreck while you're on the coast of Alaska?
That's weird. Yeah, that's I've never done that. I think I always thought I was weird because I'm terrified of flying, but I fly a lot because it gets me everywhere faster. So I'm like, I'd rather fly than drive. But every single time I get on a plane, I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
But I always watch like plane wreck stuff leading up to or like listen to podcasts about like plane wrecks, and I'm like, why do I do this to myself? It's the worst thing ever.
I think it's a weird timing thing. Stuff like that happens too. Because I was reading a book once and it was on a flight and it was my first flight in probably like 4 or 5 years. And like I'm okay with flying, but it still makes everyone a little nervous, when you're getting back into it after a
Yeah.
while. And I'm like 3 chapters into this book, and then it's like a plane crash scene. I was like, what are the odds? I've never read a book with a plane crash ever in my life. And now I'm on a plane.
Oh my
3 chapters
god.
into this new book I was so excited for. And it was like, oh, the plane's going down. I was looking around. I was
Nope.
freaking out. I was like, what did I do this to myself for?
Oh my gosh. I mean, the good news is that they survived. If the book is going, it's because they survived. So
I was say we were 3 chapters in, so we had a lot more to go. But I was just like, oh my gosh, this has never happened. Why is this the timing?
I know it happens though. It's crazy.
Yes, reading is such a weird, funny thing. But going back into that, okay, obviously your newest book, let's talk about that because it's in the same kind of universe as Until I Get You. What was that like, getting to go back and write in that universe again?
So the only reason I even wrote in the universe was because I couldn't let go of the other couple. Like I couldn't let go of Until I Get You. And that book was so long because I wouldn't stop writing. Like I kept telling myself, I need to stop, but things kept coming up, and I was like, well, I need to keep going. So I really didn't want to end that couple. So I was like, you know what? If when I write my next book, maybe I can write it in the same world. But then I didn't. I felt like the side characters of that book kind of got wrapped up. At least in my mind, I'm like, all of them have their own little story. They all got wrapped up kind of in the book. Like, you don't need to know about everybody. So I was like, I would want to write it like with them in the future.
Mhm.
So instead of writing them in the future, I was like, well, let me introduce these new characters and we can still show their future going on. And then, but then I got complete, and I kept thinking, like, there's no way I'm going to get into this. There's no way I'm going to get into this. Cause again, I was like, I wrote like the scene where the couple comes out and I was like, this is my favorite scene ever. I'm never going to get into this. And then I got like obsessed with When We Lied. And I was like, okay. So I got into it. So yeah. So that's why I kept the world. I love the world because it's, well, I don't know. I don't know what I love about it. I don't know if I love the college town situation
I
or
love it.
yeah, I don't know what I love, but I do. I love that world.
I
So
think just I don't know if it's like in general, but I feel like especially like obviously this is hockey, lots of hockey stuff. I feel like hockey when you said it with like college, even with NHL, but if they ever have like it's a town or something that people can come back to, it everyone loves it, eats it
yeah,
up every single time, like super attached to it. And I can definitely see that with like this world too. It's just that I mean, again, it's a hockey romance. So if anyone likes reading hockey romance, boom, you have a winner right here. So good. But I can see how it would be a world that you're just like, you know, attached to, wouldn't want to let go. Do you
yeah.
think now that you have Until I Get You and then When We Lied that you would write something else? Or do you think like, okay, now that you have these two stories, you're feeling okay now with the endings?
I don't know. Well, yeah, I feel okay with the ending, like with them being done, but I would write another one in the world. It would have to be like the right story because
Mhm.
I could only think of one character that I would want to write about actually from When We
Mhm.
Lie, which is her brother. I like her stepbrother. I was like, okay, I'd write a book about him. Like I can think of situations that he could be in that could be like mysterious or whatever, which are interesting to me.
Yeah.
So I think I would go back, but I don't know. I'm also like scared to start and then like want to that book killed me because both of those books killed me because I had writer's block for months and months and months and months and months, and I thought like 100% I was broken. I was like, I'm broken, I can't write anymore. So I'm scared that that would happen to me again.
But
But I,
every time you get through it and you finish it and then you love it.
yeah, that's what has to happen. It's like I need to finish it and then love it, and then I'll be like, okay, good, I did it again. But I don't know. So I'm like nervous to go back to that world, but also I probably will.
That's awesome. Love that. And I think anyone who's listening to this who have read them are going to be like, yes, please, please write again. Please write another one.
I know. I know, and it's so cool that like people actually love the world because it's just like I don't know, like it's one thing for me to love it. Of course, I'm writing it, but when everyone else like kind of loves it too and like comes along for the ride, it's so exciting for sure.
If you could, without obviously spoiling anything, but like give a synopsis tease to When We Lie, like what people could expect if they're like, okay, I'm kind of interested now. You got me romantic suspense, hockey, like please sign me up. If you could just give them like a very quick overview of what they could expect if they're like a trailer kind of a book,
Right.
how would you describe it?
So I think I would say it's about this town that gets a professional hockey team, and the guy who's the face of the hockey team moves back into town, and the two main characters already met and had hooked up and decided we are never going to hook up again, we're never going to see each other again, and circumstances bring them together when he comes back, and he kind of blackmails her into helping him solve a mystery that he really wants to solve, and in doing so they're just like forced together a lot. Like it's kind of like a forced proximity. So they're like working together, but against each other's feelings for each other. So it's there's a lot of like push and pull, and then there's a mystery going on that they want to solve, and he doesn't want to hook up with her again because he has this rule, but he's like completely fallen for her. He
Boy
just
obsessed, the
yeah, he's
definition of boy
completely obsessed with her, but he refuses to believe it. He's like, "No, I can't like her." And everyone's like, "Yeah, but you do."
obsessed.
And he's like,
They're
"No, you
like,
don't."
it's literally right in front of you. And he's like, nah, I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, like his cousin tells him like, "You like her," and he's like, "No, I don't." But I want to know everything she's doing. I want to know her location. I
I'm
want to know
jealous of anybody else around her.
exactly. I don't want any other guy talking to her. Yeah. So basically, yeah, a boy who's obsessed with a girl he does not want to be obsessed with, and they're trying to solve a mystery together.
Amazing. Perfectly put, and people will love it because it's so good, and it's one of those, again, like romantic suspense. You get so much romance. I mean, this book is spicy too, like,
Yeah.
it's all of that fun stuff that everyone wants, but then the suspense part, like, keeps you going because you're like, "Okay, wait, I need to know." Like, I need to know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I was hoping that it kind of balanced out because I kept thinking like every all the spicy scenes, I was like, but I can't remove them. Like they have to be in there because that's what they're doing at this time. But also, is there enough of the mystery that I'm leaving little breadcrumbs, hopefully? Not that anyone very few people thought what the whole twist was. Very few people got it. But I was like, but I left you enough breadcrumbs that you could have gotten it. And they were
That's
like,
the best part about a suspense, though, is like when you're trying to pick up all the little pieces, especially for people like I think it's slightly different for people that are like, okay, going into romantic suspense maybe for the first time. They
right,
don't their brain is not like wired to try to pick up all those crumbs versus if you like are hardcore into thrillers, it's like from the
exactly.
get-go and it's like, oh, so and so like used to be my best friend. And I'm like, who are you?
Exactly. I
Like,
agree.
what are you gonna do here? It's like, oh, I meet this person for the first time, or here's the nice guy at a bakery. There's all these like different pieces, and you're like,
You
who? I
trust
don't
no
know if
one.
I trust you. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree because that's exactly how I read like romantic suspense. I'm already well, even romance. I go into it and I'm like, who are these people and what are they doing here?
It's so hard too going from like a romantic suspense back to like a true just like romance contemporary or something else, and then you're like having to untrain your brain. You're like, okay, we trust these people, we actually like these people. They're not gonna stab us in the back by the end of the book, like it's okay.
Exactly. This is a safe zone,
It's
but
a
is it?
safe place, yeah, or is it? Then we get 3 books in and it's like, wait, backstabber.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
Love
it's
that. So I think people, obviously would love this book. Would you recommend people probably, there are different time periods, but would you say people should probably read Until I Get You first and then When We Lied, or do you think it could go either way?
I think it could go either way because I think if you read When We Lied and you are interested and you like the like Lachlan and Lila and you like the couple and you like Theo, which Theo's not going to be in book one, but if you like the whole thing, like their vibe, and you know, then you'll go back to Until I Get You and read it. I hope, but I don't think you have to. I think some people did appreciate it more when they read Until I Get You first, but not, but only because again, you get more of your couple of the couple, and everybody's like, oh, what are they doing now? And they get that, extra, but not. I don't think story wise it matters. I mean, it doesn't. Story wise, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly put though. It's like, especially with how Until I Get You, it's like, okay, they had all this buildup, they had their own suspense, like they had to work really hard to, get to actually be together and stay together through all the different stuff that they had to deal with. So it's fun for fans, and readers to be like, wait, they're still together, like it's so cute, it's so wholesome, and like getting to see them living their happy life now.
Yeah, yeah. I think you appreciate it for sure, but you don't have to.
Love that. Love that. So maybe not just with these books, because you said that these books were very hard to, sometimes you had writer's block and stuff. But what's your typical writing process look like? I always love asking authors this just to kind of see, like, okay, you guys, you start with the idea in your head. How does that translate to now a whole book that is long and out into the world? Kind of walk us through what that process looks like for you.
So it really depends on the book. It really depends on the book because like Until I Get You, I wrote that book. I want to say it took me a month to write that book. And it was long and I just couldn't stop though. Like it's one of those like I was consumed by it. I couldn't stop. And it happened to me with When We Lied, but like way later because I kept writing like chunks of it. And then like towards the end, that's when I got like hooked and I wanted to keep going. But Until I Get You was like once in a blue moon experience. Like it's very rare that a book like pours out of you like that. So normally I I don't it's hard because again it depends on the book. Like I'm working on something that I've been working on for 3.5 years now, and I still have not started writing the story. It's been like on my mind. I met up with a book club the other day. I had like 200 and something notes on this one book because I've had like again, it's been like brewing for so long. But now I'm like terrified to write it. So That one is very, again, completely opposite of Until I Get You. Until I Get You, right away, this one has taken so long because I'm terrified of it. Um, Normal books, when I don't have writer's block, okay, like Half Truths, which is somewhere over there, which is like a secret society, again, like thriller, romance. So that one took me, I want to say it was like 2 months to write, and it was like every single day from, I usually write from 8 to like 1:30, and then I'll write again at night. Sometimes I could do 8 to 1:30 and just do that for the day, and it's fine because I'm like not on deadline. I'm actually like being very responsible with my word count, and I can hit, the deadline. It's fine. But most of the time that's not the case, and I need to like do 8 to 1:30, and then like at night again, like after my kids like finish with their homework and finish everything they need to do, then I'll like sit back down at the computer and write again. So usually I do that. Usually it's like just big chunks of the day.
Do you feel like you have like do you feel you're more productive in the morning versus night, or is it kind of the same either way?
For sure in the morning, and for a while I was waking up at 4 and working out at 5. So that, it sounds insane. It
A
does.
little bit.
It sounds insane, and it was, but I like made myself do it, and I feel like that was probably my best year like being productive,
Mhm,
because I would wake up very very early, and I would work out, which automatically like gets you like, I don't
mhm.
know what it is about working out in the morning. I hate it, but when you do it, it's amazing.
No, I understand. I'm the same way. I like will do it go before going to work sometimes, and people are like, "You got up at like 5 to do this," and I'm like, "Trust me, my brain is firing faster now."
Exactly. It's true. It's true. It's so crazy, but it's true. So then I feel like, and then I would come home and I would write for a little while my kids got ready for school and everything. And then so mornings usually are the best for me. Like, it's very rare for me to like have any brain cells left at night. It's like very rare. So yeah, mornings for sure. And if I do it that way, I feel like that's the best. Except like I'm not like in the right headspace to start waking up at 4 a.m. and like doing the whole thing again. So I'm like, I hope I get there again someday, but it hasn't happened in a while.
I don't blame you. That's still very early, you know. I'm like my 5:30 alarm goes off sometimes on those days that I do that. I'm like, why am I doing this to
I
myself? And it's like
know.
once I'm standing at least, I am definitely more of a morning person than a night person. So
Yeah.
it's like it takes me getting up on my feet. Once I'm on my feet, I'm like, okay, we're already out of bed. We're just gonna go ahead and do this. But there's a
Exactly.
lot of mornings that I roll over and I look at that clock and I'm like, never mind. I don't want to be good today.
I know, I know, I know. It sucks because you know that you're gonna have a better day. You know you're gonna be more productive, but also you want to sleep because duh.
Sleep is just like the best thing ever. It's like you can wake up some mornings and all you're looking forward to is getting back into bed later
Oh my
on the
gosh,
day.
I know, I know. It's seriously.
Awesome. Well, okay. Obviously, we've talked a lot about you as a writer, but I also like to do these, meet the author interviews to talk about you outside of being an author. So, when you're not writing or reading, what's some fun things that you like to do in your free time? Obviously, you said you're a mom and you're a wife. What's kind of you have dog? What is some
Yeah.
of the things you like to do when you're not, having to be an author?
Usually go to the movies. Like we go to the movies once a week, or we try to go like every Tuesday. And that's always something I look forward to because we love movies. Like I love movies. We did our engagement shoot at the movie theater. Like we love the movies.
That's so
Um,
fun.
yeah. So we go to the movies a lot. We go out to eat a lot. What else do we do? We do a lot of things, but it's like little, like it's not like any set thing. Like sometimes we'll go to the park. If it's nice outside, we'll go to a park and we'll like just the kids will play basketball and I'll just sit there and try to play basketball with them and then sit back down because I suck. And then like we just hang out a lot. Like I don't know. I feel like going to the movies is probably my favorite thing to do. And
What's been your favorite movie so far that you've seen recently?
ooh, recently, God, I haven't seen a good movie. Oh, actually, Monkey Man.
Monkey Man?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
so unexpected. I wasn't gonna go to the movies that day. I was like, I don't even want to go see that. Like, I saw the trailer and I was like, it's fine, I guess. I don't feel like watching all that. But then I went because I hadn't gone in a while. and my kids were like, "Oh, you're not gonna go again," and they kind of like guilted me into going, and I went, and I was like, that movie was spectacular. Like it really
Okay.
was. It really was. It's like I don't watch John Wick movies, but
Mhm.
I said it's like John Wick, but Indian. Like it's literally John Wick, but Indian.
Okay.
It's
I'm
really good.
intrigued. I'm
It was
intrigued. I've gotta do that. My fiancé and I go through, like, phases with movies,
mhm.
and we actually have the first weekend in, like, I don't know, 3 months this weekend that we have, like, nothing planned, and so we talked about possibly going to see a movie or, like, renting a movie or something. So I'll have to bring that one up. I'll have to write it down to be like, "Hey, what
Yeah,
about this?"
yeah, it's surprisingly good. Like I really did not think I was gonna like that movie, and it was amazing. It really was.
The one that I've seen all over, like, TikTok and stuff has been, like, Challengers, and I brought that up to wanting to go see that one, and he was like, "I don't wanna see a tennis movie," and I was like, "I heard it's good."
I know. My husband was like, "What is Zendaya doing?" And I was like, "She's living her best life. Leave her alone." He's like, "Why? I wonder why she picked this movie." I was like, "The movie must be good. Like, I don't know. Like, we haven't seen it." And he was like, "I don't know. I don't want to watch that." I'm like, "Okay. Well, maybe I'll watch it by myself. We'll see."
We can just plan, we'll just do a movie date together. I'll just fly
Right?
out, we can go see Challengers together. It's fine.
Exactly. We should. We might as well. I mean,
It's not
gosh.
for the men, apparently.
Apparently not. I was like, "But I don't understand it. It looks good." He was like,
And Zendaya is beautiful. Like, if I was a guy, I'd want to look at Zendaya with
"Right?
her little tennis. I mean, I'd be all about that.
Exactly." I was like, "I don't understand what's happening." He was like, "No. I'll
Yeah.
keep her in everything else, not that."
Yeah. As soon as my fiance heard tennis, he was like, snooze button. I was like,
Right.
what do you have against tennis?
I know. He was like, "No, no. Why would she do a tennis movie?" I don't know. Like, who
Put it back in
cares?
Spider Man.
I know. I'm like, you saw her in Euphoria. Like, what's like? This is kind of. I mean, it's not the same thing, but
it's it's different, but it's similar.
it's
Like,
the
compared
same
to some
vibe.
other stuff that she's done, I feel like that it's similar ish.
Yeah. Eh, oh well.
Well, we'll have to go without, them
Yeah.
because they don't wanna go see quality,
I know.
Zendaya movies.
I know.
That's so awesome, that's so fun. Well, is there anything that I haven't asked you yet today that you wanna talk about or anything you just wanna say to readers since, obviously the release has been out about, what, a week now? A little bit over a week?
I think it's been yeah, I think this is the second week. Yeah, it's been really good. It's been good because the people who read Until I Get You keep saying they like this one more, and I was like, I was not expecting that at all. I just I mean, I think I liked it more. I ended up liking it more. Until I Get You is very like personal to me, so it's a very different situation, but I did like the suspense in this one more. In
Mhm.
my like, I liked it more. So when people say they liked it more as well, or like, "I love Finn more than Lachlan," I'm like, "Thank you. Me too. Me too." I just didn't wanna say that before because everyone's like, you say something like that and everybody's gonna be like, "Yeah, right," and then they'll go in reading it and they're like, "No, what are you thinking? You're crazy."
It's like
But
asking authors to pick children, being like, "Alright, you put all your blood, sweat, and tears into these books, now pick your favorites."
pick the favorite, exactly. Yeah, but so I don't know. I just yeah, it's been really good in that sense. Like people like it more or as much as the first one, and that's always a good thing because a lot of times as a reader, like I'll pick up a second book of anything and I'm like, oh, but the first one was so much better. But like, was it, or was it the experience of being in this world for the first time? I don't know.
Mhm. I
So
feel
yeah,
like as an author, that probably adds a little bit of, stress to when you're going to write a second of whatever, because you're like, okay, like I don't want to mess this up. I want people to love it just as much. And so you have to kind of battle that too. And you yourself, again, you're an author, but you're also a reader. Like you want to be able to go back and enjoy that book too, just as much. And like, as
yeah.
you got to with the first one.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was hard, honestly, because I just kept thinking like all of us are going to compare it to that book. Like I'm comparing it to that book, to the first one. And so that's hard. That's the hard part about writing in the same world because yeah, you do compare it even if you don't want to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I'm so happy that it's been, like you said, barely 2 weeks now, or we're going into the second week, and it's received such good reviews. I know it's been all over my For You page now again on TikTok, because it's like, I went through the phase when Until I Get You was all over, and, like, that's when I was reading it, and then I read this one, and then all of a sudden it started showing up, like, the fan edits and stuff on my page, and I'm like, "Yay."
Oh, that makes me so happy. I never see it anywhere. People are like, "Oh my gosh, I saw it on TikTok." I'm like, "Where did you see it? I never see it anywhere."
I'm interacting with all the hockey books because I'm a big hockey romance girly. So anytime there's a new hocky book out in the world, it just ends up on my For You page.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense for
That
sure.
is my algorithm is like keyed in and knows what I like
Yeah,
now.
hockey. There you go. Perfect. Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. I usually don't read hockey romances, so I'm like,
But
but
you like to write them.
I love to write them. I love hockey. I love the sport, but I don't read the. I don't know. I read. I'm a mood reader, so I'm very much like I'm all over the place all the time. So I haven't read like a sports romance in years. I don't know. I don't even know when the last time I read one was.
What's your favorite hockey team?
The Panthers, which
Okay.
are beating the Bruins right now in the
My
playoffs.
team is the Stars. So we're also, we're doing good in our series. We're I think 3-1.
Yeah, we're 3-1 as well. So I'm like, this is so exciting. Oh man, I love this. I love this time of year for hockey for sure.
It's been fun, but also so annoying because the Mavs. So I live in Oklahoma, but I'm from Dallas. So the Mavs and the Thunder are playing each other right now in the NBA, and so it's like I don't know how to pick because it's like my home team is Dallas, but now I live in Oklahoma and like everyone here is cheering for the Thunder,
Oh,
so I'm like happy either way. But every single game for the Stars and the Mavs and the Thunder keeping at the same time, and I'm like, why are you doing this?
oh, I know, I know. I hate that. I don't know why they keep doing that. It's super annoying. I haven't been really keeping up with basketball, but
I only keep up once it gets to the playoffs.
yeah, exactly. And I think that's
As
what it
bad
is.
as that sounds.
I think that's what it is. Like the Heat are out, and I'm like, okay, well now what? Like who am I supposed to root for? And I'll watch the games, and I'm like, man, these people are so good, but who am I rooting for? Like I love players, like one player on each team is. So I'm like, who am I rooting for right now? So
I'm
yeah,
just on team whoever has a good time.
right, exactly, exactly.
Awesome. Well, Claire, thank you so much for taking time today to just talk with me about your books and just yourself and everything. I had so much fun chatting with you.
Thank you. You too.
And real quickly, tell everyone where they can find your books if they're like, all right, I'm in, give me the first one. I need to read all of these. Where can they have access to your books and best connect with you?
So all of my books right now are on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can read them all there. And the paperbacks, if you're a paperback person, you can find them on Amazon or on Barnes and Noble. Like there's, I mean, wherever you find paperbacks, they'll probably be there. And I'm usually on Instagram. I'm not really a TikTok person because I get lost in TikTok like bad. So I usually stay away until like I have to post. Like when I post, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna post and I'm gonna leave. So usually I'm on Instagram because I don't get as lost on Instagram. I just like pop in there constantly though. So yeah, you can find me Claire Contreras on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for taking time out of your day today. I had so much fun chatting with you.
You too. Thank you.
And you guys make sure you're staying up to date here with everything happening in Michaela's Book Nook for more author interviews, reviews, and more. Until next time, bye.